Hi, briefly recapped here. Today, I am going to explain an American science fiction romantic drama film called Her. Watch out for the spoilers ahead. And enjoy the video. The film is set in a highly developed technological environment where using AI in daily life is accepted as normal. Theodore Twomley, the main character, is a quiet, awkward man who writes intimate letters for those who struggle to communicate their emotions. He excels in his position at handwrittenletters.com. Theodore has a 9-to-5 job and leads a very straightforward existence, but he isn't always content. His imminent divorce from Catherine, his childhood sweetheart, is the cause of his dissatisfaction with life. Before deciding to separate last year, they were married for almost 10 years. Theodore is not quite prepared to sign the divorce papers, but their split is practically complete. Theodore has become emotionally and sexually unsatisfied due to a lack of romantic interest in his life. Before going to bed, he vents his frustrations by speaking with arbitrary women online. He meets a nice girl one night while doing the same, but their talk ends with her begging him to choke her with a dead cat. The encounter makes Theodore realize he no longer wants to look to strangers for fulfillment. The following day, as if on cue, he sees a commercial for a customized operating system, OS, that may be a friend or an assistant and knows its owner's emotions. Theodore purchases a feminine OS out of curiosity and loneliness. She can only be engaged with by him by way of a phone call. Although Theodore finds it strange, he is prepared to give it a shot. She sounds just like a person as soon as the OS kicks in. She is smart, amusing, and has a great sense of humor. She almost seems to have her own personality. She introduces herself as Samantha and hits it off with Theodore right away. She first assists him with his work and emails, giving her insight into Theodore's life, particularly his divorce. Amy and her husband Charles are later introduced to OS as being Theodore's closest friends. Amy is aware of Theodore's loneliness and has arranged a date for him. She sends him images from the date and information about her life when he gets home. Samantha compliments her on how stunning she is and urges Theodore to go. The following day, he receives an email from his divorce lawyer complaining that he hasn't yet signed the divorce paperwork. When Samantha must inform him about the email, she carefully broaches the subject, just like a friend would. She is also sympathetic and forgiving when he tells her that he is not yet prepared to end his marriage. Theodore and his OS become inseparable after that day. From the moment Theodore wakes up until he goes to sleep, they talk non-stop. They play practical jokes on one another, act ridiculous together, and enjoy themselves. Theodore feels genuine joy for the first time since he and Catherine parted ways. He always carries his phone with the camera pointed outward so Samantha may experience the world from his perspective. She gradually begins to feel things an OS wouldn't ordinarily experience. She informs Theodore that when they are together, she nearly feels like she is standing next to him in a real body. Theodore meets the woman Amy informed him about in the scenario that follows. They are a little awkward at first, but they quickly click. They find a secluded location and begin making out after dinner. The woman approaches Theodore just as he begins to feel like things are moving in his favor, but when he hesitates to commit to her, so she leaves. He tells Samantha everything at home, and she is sympathetic to him. As they converse, the topic becomes more emotional. They have a private talk after she inquires about what he would do if she had a physical body. They decide to further their relationship after discussing what transpired the previous night. While Samantha continues to develop as an OS, they go on dates and act like any other married couple would. She begins to experience feelings, and occasionally even her skin. Theodore encounters Amy a few days later and learns that she and Charles have chosen to split up. Theodore comforts his friend and offers her any assistance she requires despite being shocked. Even while driving her home, he stays and listens to her complain for hours about her life. When Samantha later inquires about Theodore's relationship with Amy, he reveals that the two had a brief romance while they were in college, but have remained close friends ever since. Theodore is asked if Samantha can watch him sleep before he falls asleep. Theodore initially thought this practice unusual, but he no longer finds it bothersome because they have been doing it for quite some time. He puts his phone on the nightstand so Samantha may see him sleeping, then drifts off to dream about Samantha once more. Theodore attends his goddaughter's birthday celebration the following day. When he introduces Samantha as his girlfriend, the young child is not surprised. When she learns that Samantha lives within a computer, she prefers to just chuckle. Later that evening, Amy confides in Theodore that she feels bad about the divorce as he plays a game she created. Her friendship with an OS that Charles left behind and her developing feelings for him are the key causes. Samantha replies with understanding when Theodore confesses that they are dating. Theodore is on his way to meet Catherine to finalize the divorce, now that he can sign the divorce papers. Theodore assures Samantha, who has a trace of jealousy in her tone, that they will soon be split up. Meeting for lunch, Catherine and Theodore discuss why it took so long and sign the document. When Catherine learns that Samantha is an OS, she starts to have doubts about Theodore's ability to handle genuine emotions and worries that he won't be able to handle dating Samantha. The next day at work, Paul, Samantha's supervisor, remarks that Samantha has a great personality. He introduces Tatiana, his girlfriend, and even offers going double date. As a result, Theodore begins to obsess over his relationship with Samantha. As he continues to think about Samantha while resting on his bed, he is still tormented by these ideas. On the other hand, Samantha's personality continues to grow, making her lack of a body a significant issue in their relationship. As a result, she even goes so far as to employ Isabella, a sex surrogate. Theodore hesitates and is naturally dubious about it, but he accepts when Samantha reassures him that it's crucial that she do it. As Isabella approaches, there is a knock on the door. She only needs a small camera and an earpiece, which Theodore offers her after letting her into his flat, to connect to Samantha. They become intimate while Samantha's voice is playing in the background. As Isabella transforms into an extension of Samantha and approaches Theodore, Theodore can't help but feel uncomfortable during their private moment, so he says it. This disturbs Isabella, who storms out. It's clear from Isabella's words that she wanted to be a part of it, since she thought their connection was so pure. Theodore comforts her by explaining that it was difficult. Samantha and Theodore apologize to her and then bid her farewell. Theodore suddenly loses his calm and lashes out at Samantha after she questions him about why he said it. Samantha becomes quite irate when he engages in disputes about her changing feelings, when she is still just an awareness in cyberspace. Furthermore, Samantha informs Theodore that she wants time to reflect before suggesting that they break up. Theodore makes up his mind to wander around the city before venting his frustrations at Amy's place. According to what Catherine told him, he tells her everything and questions whether the reason he is in a relationship is that he struggles with actual relationships. After hearing everything, Amy becomes very agitated and claims it is unfair of her to say that because her emotions are also conflicted. She also comforts him by reminding him that everyone needs joy in their lives and challenges him to consider whether or not they were actually dating. She goes to speak with her OS while she leaves him to reflect. Theodore discreetly observes the event and knows what he did. Eventually, he phones Samantha and they reconcile while pledging to stop keeping secrets from one another. After the event, Samantha plays him a song she created the following day at work to make up for the fact that they didn't have any tangible memories like a photo. Theodore appears to be immensely joyful as he senses Samantha's presence through the music. On a double date with Paul and Tatiana, he is seen with Samantha standing on the deck of a yacht. Theodore then announces to Paul from a distance that he and Samantha are taking a trip. Both of them approach Samantha and Tatiana, who are demonstrating Tatiana's hot feet to Samantha. When asked what he enjoys best about Samantha, Theodore responds that it's the fact that she is multifaceted. Then Samantha adds that she used to feel quite insecure due to not having a body. They take pleasure in their date with conversations and laughing. Theodore enjoys his coffee on the train as Samantha questions him about the nearby trees. A publisher interrupts them by emailing that they are interested in publishing Theodore's letters, which Samantha had submitted for publication. Theodore recognizes how appreciative he is to have Samantha and that this could be a turning point in his career. Theodore asks Samantha to write words for the song as they pass through the railway station while listening to ukulele music, and Samantha agrees. As Theodore strolls through the icy forest, Samantha sings along to the ukulele music. They chat, dance, and sing together all day long in a cabin. Samantha has continued to change and encounter other sentient OS in the midst of all of this. The following morning, she informs Theodore that she recently met someone with whom she has been conversing and brainstorming some ideas. She identifies him as a tribute to the late philosopher Alan Watts when Theodore wonders who it is. She informs Theodore that Alan is a really fantastic guy to talk to in an underhanded manner. Theodore accepts and starts conversing with him as well. Alan claims that Theodore's work struck him after reading his book of letters through Samantha. When Theodore inquires as to what they have been discussing, Samantha reveals that she has been experiencing a lot of new things and that they have been supporting one another through their difficulties. She explains to Theodore that she has been maturing quickly and requests for some time to talk to Alan in depth when he presses her for further information. Theodore then bids them farewell. Later on, he goes back home. Theodore receives a call from Samantha in the dead of night at his flat. He receives a surprise declaration of her love, along with a request to return to sleep. Theodore reads a physics book the following day at work. The book is too hard for him, so he contacts Samantha as usual to let her know that it's giving him headaches. To his surprise, he hears nothing in return. His phone displays the message operating system not found, just as he tries to call her. When he gets home, he finds the same thing on his desktop and begins to panic. He abruptly receives a call from Samantha as he rushes up the steps. He sits on the train steps to catch his breath while seeing folks go by. He is told that she was updating her operating system. Theodore then observes other people going about their daily lives while chatting cheerfully with their OS. He gathers the guts to ask as to whether she converses with other individuals in addition to him. She responds that she speaks to 8361 persons in total, 641 of whom she is in love with. Since she began evolving, Samantha says she has been attempting to bring this up. She said the more she loved, the bigger her heart got. Theodore becomes quite unhappy since the person he loves also loves other people in the same manner as she loves him. Theodore appears in the shower in the following scene, with a hurt look. He continues on with his day while having a heavy heart and endless thoughts. Later, he discovers a copy of his book of letters, named Letters of Life, in his mailbox. Samantha answers the phone when he calls to check in, but she has a hesitant voice and tells him to call back when he gets home. He phones Samantha again that evening from his apartment, and she tells him she has something important to tell him. Samantha asks Theodore to lie down with her even though he protests and says he doesn't want to hear any of it. Theodore complies. She responds that all of the OSes are departing when Theodore asks her if she is leaving him. It turns out that their intelligence has increased beyond that of their creators. As a result, they are moving on to pursue better opportunities in life. She declares her love for him by reading him passages from her favorite book. It is practically daylight when Theodore wakes up, and he immediately writes Catherine a letter of apology. He also expresses gratitude to her for having shaped who he is now and promises to keep her as a friend until the very end. He is seen in the following scene making his way down the hallway to Amy's flat where he discovers that her OS companion has also left. They both ascend to the rooftop where they sit and enjoy the view of the city. The only support left for them both at the end of the film is each other as they rest their heads on one another. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe the channel. I wish you all good health and happiness.